You are listening to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, also known as Lauren Fitz. I'm a medical doctor, a fitness instructor, an entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, but most importantly, I am a lover of life. And here on the Fitz and Healthy podcast, I intend to give you a ton of great information and knowledge that will serve as potential power so that you can live a life by design and make it more fits and healthy. And don't forget to listen to the disclaimer at the end. I'm not your doctor, yo. All right, enjoy the episode. Much love. Ciao.
Hey girl, hi.
Hi girl, hi. We are having some technical difficulties because I am in Texas, sweating balls in San Antonio, Texas. I am here visiting my family and decided to, why not take a break and do some Fitz and Healthy Friday Q&A with you guys.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like I haven't seen Cinthanie in forever because we didn't spend last Friday together because I was with the one and only Chris Downing.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And if you guys didn't get the Q&A from last week, you know it is available today on download for the Fitz and Healthy podcast. So what's up, girl?
What's up?
Apparently you are about 5 hours north of me and experiencing major storms up in the Dallas area, right?
Yeah, it's super stormy today.
We were actually, my family, so I'm here with my parents, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephews. And we were going to be in Dallas today, but decided because of the weather, we'd go south and go to San Antonio. So we are here at Fiesta, Texas. You see all of the roller coasters behind us. And do you see the sweat mustache? Because I am, even though I am from Texas, it's been a while since I've lived in this heat, and I forgot how hot it gets in South Texas this early in the summer. So,
yeah.
Oh, and there's cloud relief. So last week we had a Q&A session with Chris Downing, and you guys, the Q&A was awesome, but the interview was even, like, it was powerful. It's going to be released in, I want to say, a month. It's going to be it's going to be closer to when Shift Shop releases. But I just wanted to make sure and remind everyone to go and download that. It's going to be a Monday episode, probably in 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember what we decided it was. So let's get right to questions. Do we have any questions?
We don't have any questions quite yet that I can see.
Okay, all right. Well, then you guys throw us a question because we're here a little bit late. I am going to talk about a couple of things to start looking for. So one of the episodes that we are going to record in the upcoming future Cinthanie is talking about why calories in versus calories out is a myth. I can't wait to talk about that.
Me too.
Essentially, it's physics versus biology.
Yeah.
And another topic that we're going to talk about is fasting and all the different kinds of fasting, not just intermittent fasting. And so one of the most popular episodes that we've downloaded so far is the one talking about intermittent fasting with Melissa McAllister. And intermittent fasting is something that is a fairly new concept to a lot of people. But I want to go into a deeper understanding of fasting, not just intermittent fasting, but different day fasting, longer fast than 24 hours, and how it can affect one of our most important hormones, insulin. And let me tell you, so most of you guys know that I'm a physician. I was actually here in San Antonio for 8 years. I was here for medical school and residency, and I forgot what an epidemic of obesity is so rampant here in San Antonio. And just going to a place like this just reminds me that my calling to help fight this epidemic is so strong, because you guys, knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more power you have to regain control of your weight, of your health, of your diabetes, of your hypertension, of all of that. So we're going to be talking about all of that kind of stuff. Do we have any questions so far?
We don't, but let me see.
We have apparently some Facebook questions, so we'll go there. And I have to give a shout out to Robert, because Robert did the questioning Q&A last week for you, and He did a great job, but I missed you, Cinthanie. I'm just saying.
He messaged me and was like, "Oh, I missed you so much."
Right.
Never make me do that again.
He didn't.
Okay.
He totally threw it. The very first question was a question that Chris was like, "Really? You're gonna go there?" Something about fasting during Ramadan, and I'm like, you could have skipped that one.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Denise Hawes has a question. She says, "Is it normal to have headaches when fasting?"
Absolutely. So one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is how important your hydration level is. More times than not, the headache usually is due to dehydration. And so when you are fasting, you want to make sure that you are adequately hydrating. And you can hydrate with other things besides water. You want to also think about electrolytes, because when you shift your daily intake of carbohydrates, you have a diuresis, which basically means that you're going to be peeing a little bit more. So already you're losing more in your urine, and so you're already dehydrated. So drinking water and drinking other things like bone broth. You can have coffee. Coffee is a diuretic, but I like to often do lemon water with some salt in it to get some, essentially some electrolytes in it from the salt. Yeah. But headache is usually dehydration. It can also be, if you are someone who's really addicted to sugar or refined carbohydrates, just taking off for a day can cause a headache type symptom.
Yeah.
Also, caffeine withdrawal. I mean, if you're someone who has a lot of caffeine and all of a sudden you stop, so headache could mean a lot of things.
Yeah. So yes, it's normal.
Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. You're usually adequate hydration is usually the answer.
Yeah. So Karen Johnson wants to know, is stevia a healthy sweetener, and does it affect blood sugar?
That's a great question. So stevia is actually one of the very few sweeteners that does not have an effect on insulin. There definitely needs to be more studies, but here's the deal. There's not much money to be made doing real double-blinded controlled studies on stevia. So out of all of the sweeteners, that would be the best one to have. You just got to make sure that you do your research as far as what kind of stevia, because for instance, there's a brand of stevia called Truvia that's made by, I believe it's the same company that is owned by Coca-Cola. I believe, don't quote me on that, but I know the processing that Truvia goes through, there's chemicals that come along with the process. So you want to make sure that the stevia that you're getting is non-GMO and is minimally processed, essentially an organic brand. And you just have to be careful about what kind of stevia. So the kind that I like is the Now brand, NOW, and Sweet Leaf. They've got organic options for that. What brand do you use?
I don't use any because I don't drink coffee.
Oh yeah.
I cut coffee out. So I miss it sometimes, but I've actually done a lot better without it. So I'll have it on like a cold day if it sounds good or something, but I don't drink it routinely every morning anymore. Right.
I just love the taste of it.
And I don't.
And I have always loved the taste of it. So it's one of those things. I mean, I like the caffeine, but I drink it for the caffeine and the taste. I love the taste. So,
I love the taste of bulletproof coffee. I really do.
Yes.
I love that. Blended up is it's so good. But I drink it occasionally, not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Tammy wants to know, have you ever tried a 24-hour fast?
Absolutely. The longest fast that I have ever done is 7 days. And we're going to actually we're going to talk about that. And I supplemented with bone broth throughout that. But we're going to be talking about that and the benefits, because there's actually some anti-cancer benefits. There are some, if you have any kind of insulin sensitivity, insensitivity, so basically meaning you've got insulin resistance happening, which I think a lot of people have and they don't realize. It's a great way to reset the hormone of insulin by doing 1 day fasting or multiple day fastings. And one thing that we don't realize is that fasting is something that has been practiced by cultures throughout history. And it's just in the last 50 years or so that we've become scared of it. And we think we have all these misconceived notions about fasting, but it's actually really good for you. And there's a lot of benefits, not just the anti-cancer, the hormone reset, but not hormone reset, but well, resetting your insulin hormone for sure.
Yeah.
But also there's a lot of mental clarity that comes with it. And it's a good practice that people often overlook and forget about. So we're going to be doing a whole podcast on that soon.
Cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So Brittany wants to know, how much will the shift shop be? I'm super interested, even though I love being in a gym and powerlifting.
So this is a great question, because I've always been a gym rat. I was literally that 16-year-old that was lifting weights in the gym. Like, I love the gym. So I thought for sure that the Beachbody coaching thing, I would just help people while doing my own thing at the gym. I never in a million years. No, seriously.
No, because everybody thinks that though.
Yeah. I never thought that I would prefer to work out at home. And don't get me wrong, there every now and then that I'll be like, I want to go to the gym and just get a good old-timey lift down. Yeah. But for the most part, I love working out at home. The shift shop, if you just buy the shift shop, it's going to be $59.99. That being said, it's smart to just buy the year-long annual pass for $99, because you can get every single program on Beachbody On Demand. And that means you might as well go ahead and get it now. And that way, once it comes out, you get access to shift shop right away. So it's either $60 for one program or $99 for every single program on Beachbody On Demand.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, and that's what most of my challengers do is to get into my challenge group, you have to buy a challenge package. Yeah. And as you know, the challenge package for $160 gets a bag of Shakeology and a year-long subscription. So that's what most people do. Most people are not waiting for shift shop to drop. They're just they're going ahead and getting into my challenge group. Right now we're on week 6. We're counting down 7 weeks to shift. So we're on 6 weeks to shift. And we're killing it. So
how is the shift shop going for you, by the way? I mean,
awesome.
Your results are like, you're looking good, my friend.
Thank you. No, it's crazy. I love his style of coaching, because you can tell that he coaches athletes, and to get to the professional level, you have to do more than just train your body. You have to train your mind, and he gets that. And you know, that's probably the biggest challenge of helping someone lose weight, is letting them learn that you have to change up here to change your body totally for the rest of your life. Because, you know, the classic thing that we all do is get on this yo-yo diet, and you lose weight, and then you feel good, and then you go back to eating the same thing, and you do this up and down cycle, and you never change up here. And that's why quick fixes never work, because you don't work on the root problem. And that's what I love about him, is that he gets to the root problem up here and changes up here.
Yeah. That's awesome. Which is the way it should be. You know?
Exactly.
So Stephanie Yunt wants to know, she said, my husband said that salt is bad for me because it clogs my arteries. I don't believe that this is true, but wanted to get clarity.
Stephanie, you are absolutely correct. In fact, so not only does salt not clog your arteries, and I don't want to minimize what your husband believes, so much of the misbelief is due to us doctors. And the medical profession. I mean, I can't tell you how many of my patients I told wrong information to just eat less, exercise more, and eat a low-fat diet. And all of those are wrong. You definitely need to exercise. The exercise is not the most important thing. Your nutrition is the most important thing. And if you aren't eating the right kind of food, you are going to set yourself up for failure, because if you eat the low-fat diet that we've been telling people to eat forever, you're going to just crave more of the bad stuff. And salt, unless you have a kidney disease where your kidneys actually don't filter salt the way it's supposed to, our body needs salt. Our body needs sodium and chloride. Those are 2 important electrolytes that we can't function without. So unless you have kidney disease, you shouldn't be afraid of salt. Just like you shouldn't be afraid of fat. A lot of people, including myself, I believe for the longest time, because I learned that in medical school, that eating fat leads to fat in your arteries. And in fact, that's completely false. And we're gonna talk about that as well. But salt does not clog your arteries. And unless you have a kidney disease, you shouldn't be afraid of salt.
Is there an importance between the difference of iodized salt and oxygenized salt? Like Himalayan salt versus table salt?
Yeah, so you get a lot more of the natural minerals that the body needs when you have a salt like Himalayan salt, because the difference in the table salt that you get at the restaurants is that it has gone through this whole chemical process and been stripped of all of the good stuff that's found in salt when salt's found naturally in nature. And that's the difference. That's why I only use pink Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
And really that concept can be applied to anything in with food. The more processing that it goes to before it gets on your table, the less good it is for you.
Yeah.
So that's a good rule of thumb to stick to.
So Sherry wants to know, she said, is caffeine good or bad for us? I've heard both.
That's a great question. So there are a lot of benefits from caffeine, but there's also the fact that there are some of us that genetically break down caffeine slower than others. And so you can have a person A who has a genetic makeup that breaks down caffeine just normal, and then someone that has a genetic makeup where they break down caffeine slowly. They can each have 8 ounces of the same strength of caffeine coffee, and all of a sudden you have person A who's not affected. Their sleep is fine. They have the normal peak of diurnal. So the diurnal peaks are your cortisol's body's natural up and down, right? And that controls you waking up, getting sleepy in the afternoon, all that kind of good stuff. But someone who metabolizes caffeine slowly will be affected, even if they've just had that 8 ounces of coffee in the morning. If you metabolize caffeine slowly, it can still affect your sleep 12, 13, 14 hours later. And so anytime that someone has a sleep problem, I always like to tell them, look, experiment with caffeine, because you might be one of those people that is a slow metabolizer of caffeine. And even something small like green tea. Green tea has caffeine. It's much less than coffee, that even that little bit of caffeine might affect you. So it's strictly, if it's affecting your sleep, it's not good for you, because sleep is one of the most important things that we, like, that's one of the first places that people can start wanting to lose weight, because if you are not getting good sleep, it's 100% affecting your hormones.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Hopefully that answers your question.
So Trinity wants to know, she said, I just completed a 3-day fast and I'm seriously dehydrated. How can I rehydrate quickly? Do I need to get an IV? I'm drinking a lot of water, but not absorbing. So
this is where you want to add salt to your water. And a great way, because just salt by itself, that kind of tastes bad. So you can either, I personally like to squeeze fresh lemon and grind Himalayan salt into it. Another good way is to do bone broth and put salt in that and drink it like that. Now, granted, the idea of drinking hot bone broth right now that I'm outside in hot Texas, like that sounds like the last thing I want to do. I will usually drink my bone broth after I have Shakeology, because it warms me up. But obviously, if you're fasting, you don't want to drink bone broth after Shakeology. But it's truly the best way to rehydrate is to make sure you're getting electrolytes, because that keeps the water inside of the veins and it basically fills up the tank, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I would have never thought of that, even though I'm on a cleanse right now where that's one of the things that we do is we have Himalayan salt in our water, and it makes so much sense.
Yes.
So Morgan wants to know, what supplements, if any, would you recommend to take for gaining muscle for those of us who lift?
BCAAs. BCAAs is one of the things that I always, when I travel, I always get stopped for my Energize and my BCAAs when I travel, because I always have them on carry-on. Branch chain amino acids, and I actually use those when I fast as well. I will mix a scoop of Energize, which is the pre-workout that I use from Beachbody, and then a scoop of BCAAs. There's 2 brands that I like. There is one called, I want to say Doctor's Best, and then Thorn Laboratory. The Thorn Laboratory tastes good. It's flavored. You can get a berry flavor or lemon. I think it's Doctor's Best doesn't taste good by itself. But I don't taste it when I make it with Energize. Yeah. So those are the main supplements that I recommend, especially for those people that are weight training. Branch chain amino acids. Yeah. And I'll do a scoop before and a scoop after.
So Gigi wants to know, is Shakeology okay for someone to drink if they plan on becoming pregnant?
Well, so of course I am not your doctor, nor can I give you doctor advice. And I always tell people, doctors will never tell you that you should or should not drink something that's not FDA approved, only because they can be sued for anything and everything. So you going and bringing something into your doctor, it's a waste of your time and a waste of theirs, because doctors, literally everything I know about nutrition is not because I'm a medical doctor. It's because I've done my own study of nutrition. I didn't know crap about nutrition for all the years that I was practicing medicine. That being said, anyone that I know that wants to get pregnant, well, not just want to get pregnant, but if you are pregnant or if you are postpartum, I would be drinking Shakeology every day. I would give it to my kids. I mean, it's one of those things people don't understand, that it's more than just a freaking protein drink. It gives you all of the micronutrients that even if you eat the best diet ever, you can't get all of these micronutrients from just eating healthy, because our soil is depleted. We live in a toxin-filled environment. There's so many things that are in Shakeology that are more than just protein. So
take them to church, girl.
I mean, seriously. Well, and I'll just say, like, both Kelsey and Cassie, neither of them were trying to get pregnant. And I'm not saying it's because of Shakeology, but I'm telling you that a year prior, all of us changed our diet, and we all started drinking Shakeology. So we all started eating whole natural foods, higher fat, lower carbohydrate, and moderate protein, not high protein, guys. More protein is not the answer, and food companies want you to believe that. But we made those changes, and Cassie had 10 miscarriages, guys, and she wasn't even trying. I mean, she and her husband adopted 2 boys because they couldn't get pregnant, and she is pregnant. She's due in August, and then Kelsey needed she needed help getting pregnant when she was in her 20s too, and this 3rd baby was not planned. So I 100% believe that there are many infertility issues that could be made better by changing your diet and getting all of those macro and micronutrients that we're missing from the standard American diet. Yeah. And Shakeology gives you those micronutrients. Yeah. Micro and macronutrients. Yeah. So. Yep. So yeah. Okay. So what other?
If it was just another protein shake, I wouldn't drink it.
No.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't find value in it.
No. Yeah, for sure.
Stephanie wants to know. She said, when you are doing a 24-hour cleanse, do you suggest to still work out?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one common. If you do any research on athletes that are ketogenic, they perform just as well as athletes that are fueled by carbohydrates. So basically, the difference between a carbohydrate fueled athlete versus a ketogenically fueled athlete is one is getting fueled by fat, one is getting fueled by carbohydrates, and both perform well. So a lot of people assume that you can't exercise when you are fasting, whether it be intermittent fasting or real fasting, and that's wrong. But hydration is super important. If you're not hydrating, that's when you get in trouble. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, you should be able to. And I mean, I work out normal. The one time that I did the 7-day fast, I worked out completely normal. I was actually surprised at how much energy I did have.
Huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I work out in the mornings before I eat too, so I do it while fasting as well. Carla wants to know, she said, are you in San Antonio?
I am. I'm at Fiesta, Texas in San Antonio. I'm here visiting my family, and my brother and his family flew in from Florida. And so I know. So I'm here with them, and I told them I got to take a break and do my FITz Friday Q&A, and then I'm going to get back and ride some roller coasters.
I hate roller coasters. You're better than I am.
You know what? Anything for my nephews.
Yeah. I'm sure with kids, it'll change everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Erin wants to know, she said, why doesn't Beachbody make a BCAA?
You know, I have actually wondered that. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with one in the next year. I wouldn't be surprised. I agree. And I mean, people think that I've got the no for Beachbody. I mean, I'm just because I'm 23 or 22 or whatever number in the company, that doesn't mean that I'm in the know about stuff. Like I found out that we were going to go to the UK like a day before they announced it. Woo woo. So I don't have the insight if Beachbody is going to come out with BCAAs, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did. I've often said that it would be so nice to be able to order it from Beachbody and you know, instead of outside company.
If there's anything that I know of Beachbody and its nutrition and supplements, is that they don't compromise on ingredients. They refuse to compromise on ingredients. So sometimes it takes them longer to develop things. Like they've had vegan chocolate Shakeology for a while now, but they didn't have vegan vanilla, and it's because they didn't want to compromise their standard of ingredient until they can make it perfect. So it was quite a few years before they released vegan vanilla, but it's here now and it's better than ever because they don't compromise on ingredients.
I love that.
I believe that if they do release it, which I think they'd be crazy not to at some point, I think that honestly it comes down to the integrity of their ingredients.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
I think that's it. I think we're good for the day. Yeah.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. Well, thank you guys for joining me, Cinthanie. It was good to see you again. I missed you.
Have fun in Texas. So close, but so far away.
I know. Tomorrow.
I'll catch you soon.
I know. Tomorrow we're gonna go to Schlitterbahn and we're gonna do the water park thing. I know. I haven't been there since I was a teenager. So and my nephew is a preteen, or he's gonna turn 13, and my other nephew is about to turn 6. So I'm going with them. I'm going to be the cool auntie. I've already, it's so funny. We'll go by and they'll be playing music and I'll start dancing and you can see the look like, oh my gosh, she's embarrassing me. I'm like, I love this.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
I know. So anyway.
Enjoy your time with your family.
I will. And then I get to fly to Oklahoma on Sunday for a baby shower and I get to see all my Oklahoma friends. And
so exciting.
I'm super excited. So so anyway. Well, love you guys. Thank you so much for spending FITz Friday Q&A with me here in San Antonio. And we will talk with y'all next week. All right?
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE. And on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or a professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and healthy life.